You know, they say love is priceless, but for some billionaires, it seems to have a pretty hefty price tag. Now let's dive into the world of billionaire breakups, where love can turn into a war of wallets. It's not just about who gets the mansion or the private jet. Oh no, it's much more complicated than that, and sometimes it's downright hilarious. Take the case of Elon Musk and Grimes. They're currently embroiled in a custody battle, and it's not just about the kids, it's about where they live. Imagine having so much money that you can't even agree on which state you reside in. Grimes insists they live in California, where she and 2 of their children have been staying. Musk, on the other hand, insists their primary residence is in Texas. Now, one might think, why on earth would this matter? Well, it turns out it's not just about where you hang your hat, it's about where you pay your taxes, and let's not forget, where you get divorced. Musk, ever the businessman, moved Tesla's headquarters from California to Texas back in 2021. He cited COVID restrictions and the lack of state income tax in Texas as his reasons. But Grimes claims Musk is still living the California dream, spending 2 to 3 days a week in the Golden State. So, while they're trying to decide who gets the kids, they're also trying to decide who gets to claim they live in Texas. It's a high-stakes game of he said, she said, that could only happen when you're playing with billions. So next time you think about moving for love, maybe ask yourself, am I ready to argue about this in court? Now, let's take a walk down memory lane, where love shatters and wallets get lighter. Ah, the sweet dance of courtship and romance. But what happens when the music stops? For some, it's a simple parting of ways, but for others, particularly those with a few extra zeros in their bank accounts, it's a whole different ballgame. Let's take a look at some of the most expensive breakups in American history. First stop, the Wild West of Silicon Valley. Elon Musk, the tech genius and real-life Tony Stark, has found himself in a bit of a pickle. His split from the ethereal pop princess Grimes turned into a full-blown custody battle, with the 2 taking their fight from the Golden State of California to the Lone Star State of Texas. The dust has yet to settle, but one thing's for sure, this is one expensive love story gone wrong. Now, let's rewind to a time when flannel shirts and grunge music were all the rage. In the 90s, Rupert Murdoch, the media tycoon, kissed goodbye to an eye-watering $1.7 billion in his split from Anna Murdoch. Talk about a costly kiss, but wait, there's more. Who could forget the legendary breakup of Elin Nordegren and Tiger Woods? Elin teed off with a cool $100 million after Tiger's infamous infidelity scandal. That's a lot of green for one golf widow. And finally, we can't ignore the king of pop himself, Michael Jackson. His split from Debbie Rowe reportedly cost him an astronomical $20 million. Guess it's true what they say, breaking up is hard to do, especially when it comes with a price tag that could fund a small country. So, as we stroll down this boulevard of broken dreams and dwindling fortunes, remember, love might be priceless, but divorce certainly isn't. And you thought your last breakup was expensive? Of course, Hollywood isn't just known for its blockbuster hits, but also for its blockbuster breakups. Hollywood, the land of glitz, glamour, and a whole lot of drama, has seen its fair share of messy divorces. From the swinging 60s to the current day, these breakups have been as dramatic as any on-screen performance. Let's rewind to the 60s. Remember the Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton saga? Their love story was a heady cocktail of passion, scandal, and 2, yes, you heard right, 2 divorces. They married and divorced each other twice. Now that's what we call a love-hate relationship. Fast forward to the 90s, where Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman's divorce had everyone on the edge of their seats. After a decade of marriage, the golden couple of Hollywood called it quits, creating an uproar that was louder than the Mission Impossible theme song. And who can forget the noughties' most notorious divorce, Britney Spears and Kevin Federline? Their 2-year marriage ended in a whirlwind of custody battles and shaved heads. It was a breakup that was more dramatic than any of Britney's music videos. In the current decade, we have the unfolding saga of Elon Musk and Grimes. Their custody battle is as complex as a SpaceX launch sequence. With allegations of living in different states and a town named Starbase in the mix, this is one breakup that could give Hollywood scriptwriters a run for their money. From the golden era to the age of social media, Hollywood divorces have always been a spectacle. They're just like the movies, full of passion, drama, and plot twists that keep us all hooked. But let's remember, behind the glitz and glamour, these are real people with real feelings. So let's raise a toast to love, to loss, and to moving on. Who needs reality TV when you've got the real-life drama of Hollywood divorces? So how does one survive a billionaire divorce? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, surviving a billionaire divorce isn't like surviving a zombie apocalypse. There's no need for canned food, underground bunkers, or a trusty baseball bat. Instead, it requires a different kind of arsenal. One made up of sharp lawyers, ironclad prenups, and if all else fails, a good old-fashioned hide-and-seek with your assets. First, let's talk about lawyers. In the world of billionaire divorce, lawyers are like the knights of old, defending your castle. Or in this case, your bank account. And just like knights, they don't come cheap. You're going to want the best in the business, someone who can navigate the treacherous waters of high-stakes divorce law like a seasoned sailor. Second, prenuptial agreements. In the game of billionaire love, a good prenup is as romantic as a dozen roses. It's like saying, "I love you, darling, but just in case you're after my billions, here's a legally binding document." Nothing says forever, like preparing for the end, am I right? Now, if you've somehow found yourself in a billionaire divorce without a prenup, don't panic. There's always the tried and true method of playing hide and seek with your assets. Billionaires have been known to get creative, from buying up art and stashing it in free ports to moving companies across state lines for favorable tax laws. It's all about making your assets as elusive as a chameleon in a kaleidoscope. But remember, folks, at the end of the day, it's not about winning or losing. It's about surviving the storm, coming out the other side, and hopefully keeping a sizable chunk of your fortune intact. So, whether you're headed for a breakup or just daydreaming about what it would be like to have billions to fight over, keep these survival tips in mind. Because you never know when you'll need to defend your castle. Remember, it's not about the money, it's about... Who am I kidding? It's all about the money. So, what have we learned from these tales of love and loss? Well, for starters, we've learned that love can be as unpredictable as the stock market, and sometimes even more expensive. We've seen billionaires and Hollywood stars alike navigate the stormy seas of divorce, each with their own unique twists and turns that would put even the best soap operas to shame. We laughed at the irony of Elon Musk's relocation to Texas, a move initially made for business advantages, becoming a point of contention in his custody battle. We chuckled at the sheer audacity of some of the most expensive breakups in history, where love stories turned into financial negotiations worthy of Wall Street. And let's not forget the Hollywood sagas that unfolded. From the dramatic, drawn-out affairs of the 60s to the sensational breakups of recent times, these stories, while messy, have provided us with more plot twists than a season finale. But amid the laughter, there's a lesson to be learned. These stories remind us that love and loss are part of the human experience, affecting us all, regardless of the size of our bank accounts. They remind us that while money can buy many things, it can't buy a smooth divorce or a love that lasts forever. Perhaps the biggest takeaway, though, is the humor we can find in these situations. After all, life is a rich tapestry of experiences, and sometimes the threads of love, loss, and laughter are so intricately woven together that it's hard to tell where one ends and the other begins. In the end, the world of love and divorce may seem a world away from our own lives, but it's not as different as we might think. So the next time you find yourself in the throes of heartbreak, remember to find the humor in the situation. Because, as we've seen, no matter how tough things get, there's always a reason to laugh. In the end, whether you're a billionaire or just an average Joe, remember, love might be priceless, but divorce sure isn't.